We got to sleep in extra long on the third day of our Everest Basecamp trek. We just had a short acclimatization hike in the morning. The Namche Bazaar guest house menu had something called the American breakfast, so I had to get that. It came with chapati bread and baked beans, just like breakfast back at home. After breakfast, there was a slow slog up the hill to an Everest viewpoint, but there was lots of things to see on the way. This was the first time I bumped up against these crowds. Boy, this is nothing like the Annapurna circuit. Weather being good meant there were helicopters heading up to Khumbu Valley towards Everest periodically. The first stop on the agenda was to visit the statue dedicated to Tenzing Norgay. There was a virtual geocache there, so I had to get a selfie to log the find. There used to be a physical cache near, but the maintenance staff had it removed and put this sign in its place. From the site, we spotted Everest behind a ridge.
Deboche. So Deboche is 6,495. You know the elevation?
848.
Mount Nupse. So elevation 7,879. Lhotse. 8,560 meter high. 38. Big 38 elevation is 6,600 elevation. 6,856 elevation. So right now it's coming up with expedition. 6,608.
After staring at Everest a good long time, we entered the Sagarmatha Park Museum. From there, we headed towards a better Everest viewpoint. We gained all the elevation we were going to when we reached the Tengboche viewpoint near the Sherpa Panorama Hotel. Surin put it to a vote. Should we continue to the better viewpoint, knowing that the clouds were rolling in, so we probably wouldn't be able to see Everest when we got there, or should we stop there, breathe in the thin air for a while before heading back? On the way back, we could stop for an extended visit at an informational center called Sagarmatha Next. The census was we'd walked as far as we needed to towards the better viewpoint and might as well give up. Sagarmatha Next was all about making visiting the national park more sustainable. A lot of the art on display was made from man-made materials found in the park. I wondered if the artist of this piece was commenting on man's own recyclability. I thought this restroom sign was pretty funny. A boss and I waited in line to check out the VR exhibit that let us experience climbing above Everest Basecamp to see High Camp and beyond. We learned about the Carry Me Back program. The program encourages hikers to add 1 kilogram of waste to their backpacks on their way back to Lukla. Another program recycled bottle caps to make into souvenirs. The walk back down to Namche was pleasant. We got back in time for lunch. After lunch, I visited the Hungry Yak again, but only had one Sherpa craft beer. Hussein and the kids even joined me for a while. Umihani made a request, and they played it.
The club isn't the best place to find the lovers, so the bar is where I go.
At sunrise the next day, all the clouds were gone. Up, up, up the mountain. The crowds were still bad. It's amazing what a porter can carry. We diverged from the itinerary again. Instead of going to Fortsi, we'd stay in Deboche. Apparently it is difficult to get reservations in Fortsi. Deboche must be further because this day's mileage was the longest on the way up to base camp. The weather was perfect up until 2 p.m. The clouds creeped in and the temperature dipped. We were given the option to visit a Buddhist monastery in Tengboche. And Sia wasn't feeling well, so she and the kids went ahead with Sonam to the guest house. Hussein, Surin, and I checked out the temple. Photography wasn't allowed in the inner sanctum, but here are some images from the building and courtyard. We arrived at the Hotel Good Luck at 4:45 p.m. The front door had an ingenious method for auto closing. Something about the little valley we were in and the cloud cover made this our first cold night.